Hi, welcome to the first unit on looping. We are going to talk about looping using the while keyword. This is a Ruby keyword. But even before that, let's talk about what is a loop in the first place. Now examine this program called printdemo.rb. There are 5 print statements, and when I run this program, basically 5 stars get printed in a single row. Now, before that, what is the meaning of print? You have seen puts. Alright, now what is print? They are very similar. The only difference is that if you use puts instead of print, at the end of this star, they will add a new line character. I'll just show a demonstration quickly. Let me run puts demo first. Fast one. Ruby puts demo.rb. This is what happens. The first statement runs. This star gets printed. Okay. And remember, a new line character is inserted, which means the cursor jumps to the next line. And when the second line runs, okay, the cursor is already on the second line and the star appears on the second line. This is different from print demo. Okay, I'm going to run print demo.rb. That's the difference. When the first statement runs, the first star gets printed out, but the cursor remains on the same row. Okay, there's no new line inserted. So in some cases, you may want to use print instead of puts. Okay, let's get rid of this puts thing. Let's take a look at this print demo.rb. So with this example, I've got a program which repeatedly does the same thing 5 times. Imagine if you want to print out 1000 stars, there will be 1000 statements, print star. Okay, now once you detect some form of repetition, think about loops. Because this same program can be written in another manner, okay, using the while keyword. I'll show an example very soon. Let's take a look at the syntax first. How do I use the while keyword? While Boolean condition. So this highlighted thing, Boolean condition, can be an expression, it can be a value, it can be a variable, but it has to be true or false. Okay, and we have a bunch of statements here. You can have one statement, you can have many statements, any number. But remember to indent the statements in the while block, meaning put 2 or 4 spaces in front of the statements here. Now this helps with readability. Ruby doesn't care about spaces, but human beings like you and me need to indent our code, because whoever reads the code, you get it. It's very easy for them to see where the while starts and where the while block ends. Right, so indent all the statements 2 or 4 spaces. Now, and we have the end keyword. Every while block must end with an end keyword. Now this whole chunk of code here can be viewed as one single statement. So how does it work? When the program reaches while, you will check this. Is this true or false? If it's true, go into the while block and run the statements until you reach the last statement in the while block. Check the condition again. You jump back to the top, check the condition again. If it's still true, go in and run the statements. When it reaches the last statement in the while block, go to the top, check the condition again. This keeps repeating until a time when the Boolean condition is false. During a checking time, I will just jump out of the while block and continue with any other remaining statements. Okay, let's see an example. Example will be much clearer. Okay, let's take a look at this example here. Now, let's assume that A is 3. A is a variable which stores the value 3. Now, I'm going to keep track of the variable's value here. Okay, so A, and what does it store? And output, what gets printed to the screen. Okay, the program starts. A is set to 0. Okay, I jump to this statement. Let me check this condition. Is this true? Yes. 0 is more than 3. So go into the while block and print a star. So this is the output, a star. And I'm using print not puts, so the cursor will remain on the same row, right after the asterisk, the star. I come to this statement. Now what is this statement? A plus equals to 1. It's just another way to write A equals A plus 1. This is a very common way to write a equals to a plus 1. Okay, the plus equals operator, this is an operator, basically changes the value of a by increasing it by 1. Okay, so a equals to a plus 1, a equals to 0 plus 1, which is 1. The value 1 is stored in a becomes 1. Okay, this is the last statement in the while block, so I jump to the top again and check the Boolean condition. Is this still true? Yes, because a is 1 and 1 is smaller than 3. Go in the while block, print the second star, come here, and a now becomes 1 plus 1 or 2. Alright, last statement, check the condition again. Still true, go into the while block, print the third star. Okay, a equals to a plus 1, a becomes 2 plus 1 or 3 now. Last statement, check this condition. Now a is smaller than 3 is false because 3 is not smaller than 3. So I do not go into the while block anymore. I'll skip every statement, the whole while block. I'll skip all these statements here. Okay, and I'll jump to the statement right after the end keyword. So if there are other statements, it will carry on running. The program will carry on running. If not, of course, the program will terminate. Okay, so the output for this short fragment of code is going to be 3 stars like that. Let me I've written this somewhere. Okay, yep, I've written it in this file called temp.rb. Let me run it. Ruby temp.rb. Okay, that's exactly what it does. So of course, instead of printing 3 stars, I want to print 4 stars. I just have to change this. A is more than 4. Okay, you can run through the logic, it's going to work the same way. So of course a does not have to be 0, a can be 2. Now in which case, how many stars do you think will be printed? Only 2. Why? Because a is 2, when I check this is true, I go in print a star, a becomes 3. This is true because a is still 3. I print a second star, a becomes 4. Check this again, this is false and I jump out. So only 2 stars will be printed in this case. So of course, if I set a to 10, I save it. No stars will be printed because if a is 10, when I check this condition, it is already false. Once the condition is false, I will skip the whole while block. I won't even go in at all, and I'll continue. In this case, the program terminates because there are no more statements. Okay. So there are many variations. If you want, you can change the condition. Doesn't have to be smaller than 4. It can be like bigger than 5. This one can be a equals to a minus 1. This is the operator for a equals to a minus 1. So you can do anything you want, but the rules are simple. When I start the loop, I'll check this condition. If it's true, I'll go in. Okay. After the last statement, I'll check this again. If it's false, I'll jump out. That's the meaning of looping. Okay, so just a very short note on this operator, the plus equals operator. Okay, let me go back here. Just a short note. A plus equals operator, the minus equals operator, the times equals, and the divide equals, and of course the mod equals. These are operators. So a plus equals to b is the same as a equals to a plus b. So it works for all the other 4 operators. Okay, so just a short note. Even if you do not like to use this operator, you have to understand code which uses this operator because it's very commonly used. It's just a short form, a shorter way to write this. Okay, so that's all for this unit.